right. Well, a few more questions coming in. Yeah. Have you ever had to stop a scene because it became too emotional, too like psychologically overwhelming?
No, actually. Like I said, I think part of like the taking it slow helps with that. I've had moments where like clients have like grossed me out and I've had to tell them to go shower. But as far as like emotional overload, I personally have not experienced that, and I don't think my subs have either. Like they're usually just like really happy, and then afterwards they're on that like sub high.
People don't usually safe word out because of the psychological torture.
I have never had anyone use their safe word or have like request to cancel the session or anything like that. Never happened.
All right. So there is a question coming in about your limits. Can you talk to us at all about the things that you draw hard lines on?
Yeah. I'm kind of weird. I feel like I have more limits than like other doms do. I think my biggest one is feces. You know, to each their own. It's just something that I personally can't get into. Anything regarding diapers or like age regression and baby play, it just doesn't do it for me. And for legal reasons, pegging, I also just don't enjoy it too much. I feel like it crosses the line with intimacy, that I like to have that boundary. Race play, that's like a hard no for me. Yeah, really mostly it's the feces. Yeah,
Fair
that's
enough.
really the biggest thing.
Yeah, I mean, again, your kink is not my kink, but your kink is okay. But you also, as a practitioner, have to look at what is intriguing to you, what you're interested in and wanting to do with your day-to-day, and also just your own visceral reactions to things.
Yeah, you know, and there are just certain things that I'm not interested in.
Sure.
So like rope and shibari, could not care less about it. I personally find it incredibly boring.
It's remarkable the degree of sophistication and the level of commitment that is necessary. I find shibari and suspension play fascinating, but like in 45-second clips. Like the actual hours and hours and hours of commitment is just beyond me. Yeah,
and so, you know, if someone reaches out to me because they want me to tie them up in rope, I'll be like, no, you know, I'm not the dom for you, but XYZ are phenomenal at this. But yeah.
Well, so another question from the chat. I've considered trying to move into the BDSM sphere. Are there some suggestions on how I can find out if this is going to be right for me?
That's a really hard question, you know, because everyone's always so anxious and they're worried about the stigma and the shame. I say start online. Start on Twitter, start on FetLife, look at porn, see what you're interested in, see what you like, and kind of just go from there. I suggest FetLife if you want to get like your toes in the water. That's definitely more lifestyle play. It's not professional, so you don't have to pay anyone. So you can just have like conversations and chats and be like, hey, what's your favorite toy? Or you can just learn more tips and tricks about other kinks. So yeah, I would say just starting with basic research, FetLife. I would say, you know, a lot of people will put a lot of pressure on people to say, you need to jump into the community and go to all these munches. And to which I say you shouldn't feel pressured to do that. You know, a lot of people have anxiety. A lot of people have busy schedules. So I would say don't feel pressured to like go to munches or join the community. Like take everything at your own pace, you know, and should that day come where you want to join the community, maybe you can go to a kink party, you know, maybe you can go to a convention, you know, and just explore from there. But
you don't necessarily need to be like glad handing and kissing babies at all of these kink events.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just taking it at your own pace.
Sure. So there's another question coming in. Do you have any advice for incels like me who might have an interest in what you do? I'm not sure how to take that, but I'm curious how you might react to that.
Pay me.
Yeah, there you go. That's a fair option, right?
That's it. That's the only nice thing I can say. Just pay me.
Yeah, and then finally, someone asked, is it common to have people mention sex work as cheating? Are there good recommendations on how to avoid this? I mean, we touched base on your role here a little bit, but I am curious, just being part of the scene, how often that conversation comes up or how people tend to think about it.
It's definitely very complicated.
Sure, yeah.
It's very, very complicated, and it all just boils down to communication and expectations with your partners. You know, I have seen horror stories of providers who have had wives like email them and be like, well, why are you sleeping with my husband? You know, like you're cheating on, you know, like, and a lot of people will put the onus on the sex worker, even though it's the person who's cheating's responsibility, you know. So it's just really, it's really hard. I think that the most important part is just having that communication with your partner and trying to hopefully come to terms with an understanding like, hey, I want to see this person because you don't like this kink. You know, I don't want to force you or make you feel uncomfortable with this kink, but it's a part of me that I need to fulfill and that I would like to explore. And I would like to see a professional because there is that boundary that they're not going to fall in love with me. They're not looking to meddle in the relationship whatsoever. Like, I'm not going to contact the wife or anything like that. So it's just a matter of willing to have that conversation or not having that conversation and just, you know, choosing the right dom who can respect your privacy.
Sure. Well, I can definitely appreciate that you that you stay in your lane, that you have your job to do and people come to you for a service that they're paying for that you're willing to offer. But I have to also assume that there is some pleasure, some fulfillment in helping people to realize some of these fantasies, some of these things that they maybe never thought they'd be able to experience. I mean, can you speak at all about what it's like to really see people's fantasies fulfilled?
Yeah. I think to this one newbie who I sessioned with, he spent so long texting me online, buying me presents, and he was like, okay, I'm finally ready to see you in person. And, you know, he was so nervous at first, you know, he was like really quiet and timid. And, you know, I had to like be extra gentle and like a little nicer with him and give him like softer directions, but like step by step so he knew and felt safe, like he wasn't going to mess up. And just seeing the progression throughout the session as I was, you know, like doing things to him, seeing him shed that nervousness, like starting to see him get really excited, you know, and of course aroused, you know, and then what went from quietness is like, I love you, goddess. I love you so much. Thank you, goddess. Or, you know, and it's really great. And then at the end of the session, you know, even after they're dressed, sometimes they'll be like, I can't believe that, you know, like that was amazing. Sometimes they'll even take out their wallet and tip me, like as they're like in their subspace. They're like, and sometimes they're speechless. Yeah, they're just like, I can't believe you did that for me. Thank you. You know, because it really is our own little world. And that's what I like to think of. You know, I get into a session, nothing else exists except me and that other person. And I like creating that space for them.
Yeah, no, I think that that's beautiful work. And I don't want to confuse kink with therapy, but I fully recognize that there's a therapeutic aspect to it.
Yeah.
And I wonder, as you have worked with people for, you know, repeatedly for a long period of time, have you seen meaningful change in that sense?
I really have. Yeah. You know, there are some clients who have come to me because they're scared of something, you know, like one who was scared of needles. And we didn't start off with needle play. Yeah. You know, like we started off with other things that he liked. And very slowly, you know, I would start like pinching him or poking him and then using like spiky tools on him. And then, you know, like once we build a nice rapport and chemistry, and there was enough trust there. He finally said he was ready, and so that was a great session. And then it was really slow, I wanted to make sure he was okay because he was so freaking terrified, but he handled it so well. And I think it was because of, us gradually going into it. And at the end, when I was done and I took out all the needles and cleaned him up, he was like, well, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And that made me feel good, because like a lot of people could have been like freaking out or they'd be like, no, take it off of me, take it out, I can't take it. But I took that to a testament to like us working towards that as well.
Yeah, the trust that you built up over time.
Exactly. And that led to so much happiness on his end and such a relief, Now we play with needles regularly and he's not scared of them anymore. Like they're not his favorite, unless I'm doing it. But yeah, no, it's really rewarding to see their smile at the end of a session. And I always check in with them like a few hours later the next day. And, sometimes they email me first. They're like, I can't believe that was such an awesome session. Thank you so much, So yeah, it's really great hearing the feedback from them too.
Yeah, I'm imagining that moment when you have a professional massage and they're like, okay, the hour is up, and you're kind of like blissed out, and you're kind of like, okay, I guess I'll rush to get my clothes on and everything. Is it tricky to I guess kind of wrap things up and to usher somebody out the door without sending them out into the world, completely drunk on pain and endorphins?
Personally, no. So, like I said, I usually only do like one session a day. So they actually have leniency. They can go to the bathroom, take the time that you need, go to the restroom, shower if you want, I'll offer them some water or juice. But yeah, just to make sure that they're okay. I don't watch the clock or rush them or on to the next appointment or anything like that. Even when I had multiple appointments in a day, I always had a 3-hour buffer. So that way they had time to comfortably leave and I had time to like relax and then ramp up for the next one. Yeah.
Well, finally, if there is somebody watching tonight who has always kind of fantasized about or thought maybe, what would you say to somebody who is considering dipping their toe into all of this?
I would say, do it, and hire a professional. Definitely. Have someone guide you who knows what they're doing.